Coming up on Spartan Sports Report, the men's basketball team took the short trip into enemy territory for a matchup against rival Michigan. The gymnastics team hosted Rutgers, looking to make it 10 straight wins against the Scarlet Knights. And the baseball team looked to go 6-0 for the first time since 2016.
Hello and welcome back onto the campus of Michigan State for an all-new episode of Spartan Sports Report. I'm Anissa Hall.
And I'm Briggs Maloney. Anissa, it's been quite a busy week here on campus. There have been tons of teams at home and on the road.
Absolutely, Briggs. Lots of highly anticipated games between the Spartans and some red-hot teams.
The number 14 Spartans men's basketball team kicked off a tough week at the Jack Breslin Student Event Center against the number 13 ranked Purdue Boilermakers on Tuesday. Michigan State has lost 9 of its last 10 games against Purdue, and we're looking for a big win with alumni like Joey Hauser and Tyson Walker in the house. Purdue started off quick on the back of Braden Smith, who finished with 17 points and 8 assists. The Spartans clapped back, though, with a 10-0 run featuring a slam from Shimon Zapawa and this explosive lob from Jace Richardson to Cohen Carr that got the Izzone jumping out of the bleachers. Is this East Lansing or Lob City, Anissa? Trey Holloman saved some magic for the second half when he finished with this and one finish. We had 7 points and 6 assists from Trey Holloman off the bench, and Purdue only got within 4 points of the green and white but could not mount a comeback. The Spartans led the entire second half and took home the win with a final of 75-66. Michigan State recorded 11 dunks while dominating points in the paint with a 42-24 advantage. Following the win, MSU was back in action 3 days later as the Spartans traveled to Ann Arbor to take on Michigan. MSU got out to a quick 11-6 lead as Spartan freshman guard Jace Richardson had a quick 11 points in the first half. Michigan would answer as junior point forward Danny Wolf would drop 7 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists in the first 20 minutes for the Wolverines. In the second half, junior guard Trey Holloman caught fire, dropping 3 straight threes as MSU took a 51-47 lead with 11:47 left. Holloman would show shades of MSU legend Cassius Winston donning the number 5 threads. Holloman would finish with 18 points in the game while not missing a shot in the second half. Down the stretch, Richardson would continue to step up with clutch buckets as the young star would finish with 21 points and 6 rebounds. Anissa, they always want to talk about dagger three-pointers when closing out a tight game, but how about junior forward Carson Cooper putting the nail in the coffin for the Wolverines with massive offensive rebounds in the final minute? Cooper would finish with a team-high 8 rebounds as MSU would win 75-62. With the win against its in-state rival, MSU now moves to 22-5 overall and 13-3 in the Big Ten. Good enough for the number 1 spot in the conference.
But Jace Richardson was phenomenal. He was good defensively. He didn't turn the ball over. He gets shots. He makes plays. I mean, I don't think he gets nervous if Michael, Larry, and Magic came back. I don't think it would bother him. I mean, I'm not saying he can do everything, but he has no. He's so much mature beyond his years.
Newly ranked number 8 MSU now controls its own destiny as the Tom Izzo-led squad will travel to College Park to face off against number 16 Maryland on Wednesday.
The number 22 ranked Michigan State women's basketball team concluded its West Coast tour against number 4 ranked USC last Wednesday. Despite the Spartans' effort in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Trojans 26-15, MSU fell short 83-75. In the hard-fought loss, senior guard Jocelyn Tate reached 1,000 career points, and junior forward Grace Van Sluten had a great game, tying her career high with 29 points. Freilic's squad was hoping for better results when they headed back home to host the Indiana Hoosiers in the annual Pink Game, supporting breast cancer awareness. Despite starting out aggressive, the Spartans failed to convert on many of their shots and trailed the Hoosiers after a scoreless 4-minute period. Junior guard Theron Halleck would end the dry spell with a steal and score. Emma Shoemate added to the momentum, knocking down a 3-point bucket, which was followed by an Indiana turnover. With Van Sluten picking up points in the paint, MSU would lead the Hoosiers at the end of the first quarter. Indiana was persistent in its fight, but every time they started to come back, Tate would end herself at the rim or shooting free throws to maintain the double-digit lead. Hoosier guards continued to attack the rim late in the fourth quarter, and after a three-point bucket, the Spartans' lead had shrunk to only 4 points. Van Sluten answered this with a major offensive rebound and outlet pass to Halleck, knocking down her second chance shot with no hesitation. With the clock winding down, the Hoosiers attempted a press, but Shoemate was not having it as she sunk another three-point basket to help seal the victory for MSU 73-65. After getting back on track, Michigan State will travel to Columbus, Ohio to take on number 8 Ohio State tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Moving into hockey, Michigan State, coming off a bye week, hosted number 18 Penn State in its final home series of the regular season. Penn State has found its groove since its last meeting against the Spartans, going 8-1-1 since January 17th. The Spartans revealed new alternate uniforms with Kelly Green's script, celebrating 90s night on Friday. Dane Dowiak started the scoring with a free rush at MSU goaltender Trey Augustine to give Penn State a 1-0 lead. Into the second, the Spartans produced this backdoor tap-in from Tiernan Schaude, tying the game in the final minute of the period. Penn State forward Reese Lawback fired from a poor angle to retake the lead. Then, in third, Maxim Strabak scored the equalizer to force some bonus hockey overtime. Overtime was a chaotic 5 minutes, with both squads getting quality scoring chances, but neither could break through. Needing a goal to extend the shootout, Isaac Howard casually flipped the puck over the shoulder of Penn State goalie Arseny Sergeyev, but then Lawback spun back, ripping it past Augustine for the extra point in the Big Ten standings. On Saturday, the Spartans looked to spring off the boards on senior night and stay undefeated in Game 2 of the series. However, the Nittany Lions were hungry to attack and got the scoring started in the first 59 seconds. Charlie Serrato and Max DeMarsico would go on a 2v1, and Serrato would get the puck past Augustine to go up early. Penn State continued to pounce as only 41 seconds later, J.J. Wiebusch took advantage of a costly turnover by the Green and White to go up 2-0. The Paws were not done clawing for Penn State, though, as in the second period, a beautiful right circle wrister from Fink on the power play would boost the Nittany Lions' lead to 3. Michigan State would try to mount a comeback, but Sergeyev was fantastic with a shocking 42 saves in this one, shutting down MSU as tempers started to flare. After a David Gucciardi penalty, MSU would at last find a response on a shorthanded opportunity as Tommy Ministo would cut the deficit to 3-1 with just about 8 minutes remaining. Time was running out as Carson Dort would score with under 20 seconds to go, but it wasn't enough as Penn State would take all 3 points in Game 2. Despite the loss, after the game, Michigan State honored 4 seniors, Captain Red Savage, David Gucciardi, Tanner Kelly, and Nick Andrews, in their final regular season game at Munn Ice Arena. The Spartans fall to second place in the Big Ten standings, trailing Minnesota by 2 points. They will be back in action for their final 2 games of the regular season at South Bend, Indiana, to take on Notre Dame.
The men's wrestling team concluded its regular season last Friday, taking on Central Michigan. The Green and White found themselves in a hole to start, trailing by 12 after 5 bouts. Jaden Crumpler, Jay Nivison, Marty Larkin, and Max Venadia secured victories by decision, but MSU could not pull away. The Chippewas claimed the 22-12 win as the Spartans fell to 4-10 overall. MSU looks ahead to the Big Ten Championship in Evanston on March 8th and 9th.
From the mat to the track, 4 Spartans on the MSU track and field team earned event titles over 3 different meets this past weekend. Val Pallett and Connor Williamson finished first in the weight throw, while Jessica Steeb and Dylan Morlock each won in shot put. Michigan State will now prepare for the Big Ten Indoor Championships on February 28th and March 1st in Indianapolis.
Number 7, MSU Women's Gymnastics hosted Rutgers for the 19th annual Jan Howard Breast Cancer Awareness Meet at Jenison this past Saturday. The Spartans started off strong on vault with junior Olivia Zarmani tying her season high with a score of 9.95. On bars, Nikki Smith and Sage Kellerman led the team with scores of 9.95, with Smith earning her season high and Kellerman tying her career high to finish off the rotation. On beam, 5th-year Gianna Khalifi opened on the apparatus with a career high of 9.95. The Spartans led by over a full point heading into the final rotation, but it would be senior Skylar Schulte to put it away, scoring a team high of 9.925 on floor. Senior Gabrielle Stephen would take home the all-around title with a 39.5 for the Green and White, and MSU would earn the win over Rutgers, 197.475 to 196.275.
Really good. Really excited about the first two events where we started off, and we know we got things we can still work on, clean up, but we're starting to get a little more consistent on the apparatus especially. So we're still, I don't know if you noticed, we're still bringing some new faces in and out and trying switching some lineup spots around. We're in a point of the season where the lineups are going to start solidifying a little bit because of the consistency of some of these kids, but very happy with the results we saw today.
The number 7 ranked Spartans will travel to Coralville, Iowa for the Big Four meet against the Hawkeyes, Penn State, and Washington on Sunday.
The women's tennis team had its final non-conference doubleheader of the season, taking on Youngstown State to kick things off on Sunday. The Penguins got off to a hot start in doubles play, taking the first matchup of the day 6-2 against MSU. The Spartans were determined, however, with junior duo Mathilde Morais and Izzy Purser evening the score with a 6-3 win to put the pressure on. It was quickly followed up with a 6-4 victory by Sarah Fezlogic and Natalie Stasny to secure the doubles point for the Spartans. In singles competition, Michigan State made quick work of the Penguins with a standout performance from Hannah Tsiedowitz. Tsiedowitz would have a dominant 6-1 performance in the first set against Youngstown State's Lorena Cedeno, and follow it up with a 6-2 win in the second set. Michigan State would gain singles victories from Purser and Stasny, with the rest of the singles matches going unfinished with the Spartans, clinching the win. The Spartans would defeat Youngstown State 4-0, giving them momentum heading into their matchup with Ball State. The Spartans look to continue their winning streak against Ball State on Sunday afternoon. In the doubles portion, the duo of Ellie Blackford and Purser got off to a hot start, defeating their Ball State opponents 6-1. It all came down to the pair, Morais and Tsiedowitz, to secure the victory. The duo ended up winning the match 6-4, locking in the doubles victory for the Spartans. And for the singles portion, Ellie Blackford was the star of the show, defeating her opponents 6-4 and 6-0 in straight sets. Though the green and white had a strong performance, Tsiedowitz fell short in her singles match, resulting in an unfinished conclusion for her set. The Spartans took down the Cardinals 4-1, extending their winning streak to 8 games. The Michigan State women's tennis team will head to New York City to take on Columbia on Sunday, March 2nd.
The number 33 ranked men's tennis team had its final road trip of February this past weekend, taking on number 27 Cornell. After Cornell secured the doubles point, the Spartans knew they had to fight hard in the singles. Aristoteles Thanos, Max Sheldon, and Vuk Radjanovic all earned points for the green and white, but it wouldn't be enough as Cornell also won 3 single matches to secure the 4-3 win. After being away the past 6 matches, the Spartans will be back home for their Big Ten opener against Washington on Friday, March 7th.
Michigan State softball headed to Lone Star State to play in the Roadrunner Classic. With 2 canceled games, the Spartans went 1-3 in the 4 games played. J.C. Schuler earned her first career game shutout in the 3-0 victory against Omaha. Hannah Hawley provided the 3-run home run to aid the victory for the green and white. The Spartans moved to 4-8 overall. The team will head to Oxford, Ohio to compete in the Miami tournament on March 7th.
The frigid temperatures outside wouldn't keep the Spartan baseball squad from getting some indoor work in ahead of this weekend's Clayburgh Bank College Classic in Corpus Christi, Texas. The Spartan offense was explosive and consistent, scoring at least 8 runs in each game, which would be enough to win their first 2. They defeat Washington State 9-2 and Texas A&M Corpus Christi 8-3. Sunday, they'd run into their first Big Ten opponent of the season in UCLA, who would battle back from an early Spartan lead to hand MSU their first loss of the season, 15-9. The team is now 6-1 on the season and ranked 23rd in the nation, their first spot in the poll since 2016.
Well, there were no Sharks seen this past weekend in Florida at Sharks Tooth Golf Course, but there were Spartans. Michigan State men's golf teed off their second invitational of the spring season this past week. The Spartans held steady through all 3 rounds, finishing at 1 under and tied for 8th place. However, junior Caleb Bond had an impressive few days, finishing 2 rounds under par and was the Spartans' highest finisher at 12th place. MSU will travel next to South Carolina for the Colleton Collegiate this weekend.
Thank you for tuning in for this week's episode of Spartan Sports Report.
For more content, make sure to check out all of our social medias as well as the Spartan Newsroom website. I'm Briggs Maloney.
And I'm Anissa Hall. We'll see you next time.